That's right folks, the Dead Rising series is back with this fourth main installment of the series with Dead Rising 4. Taking us back to where it all first began with our favorite journalist who's covered wars, Frank West. You're recruited by the ZDC to stop the second outbreak of Williamette and expose the truths of the government behind it. But things go left when your own student gets involved within the outbreak and a terrorist group called Oscurus is trying to keep things under wrap as well. So it's up to Frank to find his student, help the ZDC cure the zombie outbreak and stop the terrorist group from going any further than they are in Dead Rising 4. What's new in Dead Rising 4 is the episodic multiplayer mode. You play each case from the campaign and multiplayer in episodes. You play as survivors with special archetypes to select skills they have. One has good melee fighting, another is specialized in shooting, another in explosives and throwing items, and another is strictly in healing. Each episode has main objectives and side objectives for you to last through each time period you need to stay alive for until the next goal of episode comes to progressively move on. There's many things to do in the multiplayer of Dead Rising 4. What's returning in Dead Rising 4 is the combo weapons and vehicles we've seen make appearances in Dead Rising 2 and 3. Both features come alive and well for many combos of both weapon and vehicle. There's so much in your arsenal when it comes to your weaponry, from ice and fire swords, charging a Blanca mask with a battery, acid rain gun, fire revolver type or laser umbrella type combo weapon, everything you can think of and make. And the vehicles get off the wall with the imagination you can come up and make in Dead Rising 4. Now see, as an avid long-time lover of the Dead Rising series, I came in to this game with some low expectations because I didn't know how they were going to compete with Dead Rising 3 and everything that game improved on. But when I heard that they got rid of the timer for Dead Rising 4, I knew that this game was going to be set in the right path and in the right direction. And as I got to play and go through the game does do some things better than the previous Dead Rising iterations. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the pros. My first pro for Dead Rising 4 is that the humor is back within this installment. It doesn't try too hard to take itself seriously like Dead Rising 3 did. Frank cracks jokes, make light of the ever-loving zombie apocalypse that haunts Williamette and will continuously bring a smile through your face to have you chuckle throughout a joke in Dead Rising 4. The game is pretty goofy throughout. Frank makes light of everything, even the zombies themselves, cracks on the psychos, and even the teammates that help him throughout the story. It's fun, it's humorous, and captures the Frank West we know and love. It's a pro for me. My next pro for Dead Rising 4 is that there's so many zombies on the screen at all times. Whether you're in a train tunnel, construction place, or even a wide open city, there's always tons and tons of zombies for you to fight against and work against in Dead Rising 4. It's always a massive amount of zombies wherever you're at that's on the screen ready to be slain as fast as possible. Dead Rising 4 does a great job of increasing the amounts of zombies that can be shown. Each installment of the Dead Rising series takes it up a notch and shows how many that can fit. It's a pro for me. My next pro for Dead Rising 4 is that the combo weapons, vehicles, and exosuit combinations really add flavor to the game. Taking the best from Dead Rising 2 and 3, adding a whole new spin on crazy weaponry and vehicles being made. And then you have the newly added exosuits that make an appearance, which you can add power-ups from adding an ice machine for ice, an old pirate ship cannon for a cannon power-up, a fan for a vacuum power-up. All the weapons and vehicles in this iteration is really good, and it is definitely a pro for me. My last and final pro for Dead Rising 4 is that it stayed consistent with the Dead Rising storyline, furthering on the progression of the series. Dead Rising 4 continues on from the Santa Cabeza virus from 3 and makes continuous references from the past titles, moving further and even bringing up Frank's first title and many references to Dead Rising 1. Closing the book on certain cases that was brought up back in the first and still continuing on to 4. Dead Rising 4 stays consistent in many detail and makes sure whatever's next for the installment, you have to include it. It's a pro for me. Now see, as I was playing through Dead Rising 4 and really getting into it and really getting intrigued with everything, I did notice that this game does go through some problems. It has some problems with main issues, and then it has some problems with like little side issues and all that. Dead Rising 4 is good, but in the caliber that they have given to us in previous iterations, this game does lack on a lot of things. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the cons. My first con for Dead Rising 4 is that outside of the cutscenes, Dead Rising 4's graphics aren't really all that or up to par. Dead Rising 3 had some well done graphics around the time of its launch, really putting the bar high for whatever came next into the series. But then when Dead Rising 4 came along, it felt like a big step back for what was done for 3. The cutscenes look good graphically, but everything else kinda has that Dead Rising 2-ish 360 kind of vibe to it. What could have been beautiful was stopped ahead of time and really dulled down for Dead Rising 4. It's a con for me. My next con for Dead Rising 4 is that the story starts off great, but then it progresses and gets kind of blurry and messy. It starts off trying to beat the virus, then finding your student, then Obscurus comes in the picture, a reason why they want it. The Tom and his freedom fighters get involved and start making you work for them as you start trying to find your student and beat the virus, and then a monster gets put in place as just a regular soldier with talking capabilities and an exosuit who's undead, and then from there the lines begin to get blurry and the story tries to do so much within little time. It's a con for me. My next con for Dead Rising 4 is that the psycho fights and saving survivors are just random encounters now. There's no dedicated mission to saving particular survivors, it's just what if and what time you see them and if you encounter survivors. And the psycho fights are just here and there. While some may be fun, there's not that many psycho fights like it usually be in a Dead Rising title. There's mainly 4 to 5 fights minus the boss fights within the acts. It lacks a lot, and it's definitely a con for me. My last and final con is the ending of Dead Rising 4. We get the ending that's even the true ending of the game, as Dead Rising follows the grade rank endings and 4 breaks the chain of that, which it gives you the ending of what happens to Frank, and then if you want to know the true ending of Dead Rising 4, you have to buy the season pass to get the bonus mode to play through that mode, which is timed again, and see the true ending, which shouldn't even be a thing to witness the true ending of the game. It's not cool and it really takes away what you grinded so hard to get through. It's a con for me. But all in all, Dead Rising 4 is good. It's fun and humorous writing keeps you smiling, having so many zombies on the screen keeps the action going, the new combo items are definitely awesome and the consistency in the storyline is great. But with the meh graphics, blurry story, random style psycho fights and saving survivors being random encounters, and having to pay for DLC, the actual ending is a big turnoff. I'll be giving Dead Rising 4 a 3 out of 5. Alright guys, that concludes my review of Dead Rising 4. Stay tuned because I have many more reviews for you guys coming between Ruby Grim Eclipse, 2064 Read Only Memories, Rise and Shine, Power Rangers Mega Battle, Metrico Plus, and many more games coming that I have to clean up on that I probably missed out on last year or the months previous between January, which this will be cleanup review month, so stay tuned for those. Also, if you like my live streams, we will be streaming Gravity Rush for the road to Gravity Rush 2, which comes out this week. We'll probably beat Gravity Rush in a couple days just to jump into the review for Gravity Rush 2. Also, if you enjoy my Walking Dead playthrough, Walking Dead episode 2 will be up. We had a Twitch to play through from Xbox to PlayStation using the same choices that'll be from Xbox onto the PlayStation playthrough, so stay tuned for that as well. If you guys want to follow me on my Twitch and Twitter, links to that will be in the description box below. Links to my Nintendo Switch press conference talk will be up as well. So until the next time and until the next review, guys, so tune in, turn up, and throw down. I'm out, and thanks for watching.